Hello and welcome to Forgotten Stream. We're live casting a Trackmania match between Crazy Machine Chicks and Dunno. They're competing in Division 1 of United League Reborn 3 in Trackmania United Forever. I'm joined by MixD. Oh, I need to put the sound down. Hello once again, Mix.
Hello.
Can you please explain to the viewers why this is an unofficial match?
Well, the division system for United League Reborn is a little bit complicated. There are more teams in Division 1 than in Division 2. So for this reason, basically Division 1 has a slightly different structure from Division 2. And this week, Crazy Machine Chicks and Dunno didn't have any official matches. So, go with an unofficial match, and why not? I suppose we could in principle play 5v5 or whatever versus whatever, and it doesn't really matter who's on each team even. But we'll see how straight it is actually played. Maybe it will just be done 3v3 as a more serious match.
It is not going to be an excessively serious match, considering how much we like the tracks, and that it's not for points anyway.
That's true. But it still can be fun to do, you know, a proper 3v3 match regardless. So, we'll just see how all the drivers feel, and we'll see how this pans out.
I think we will go for a classic 3v3.
Really? Is that because I'm winning right now?
You haven't seen our qualifying.
I think... yeah, I think we have to say it at that point. Yes. There's JumperJack asking how the CMC 2 match went, and I think I don't want to talk about that because it was pretty terrible. So I'm actually here driving warm-up just to kind of redeem myself, to sort of prove to myself that, yeah, I can drive this track reasonably well. I mean, obviously not at Division 1 level, but of course as I try commentating at the same time, it's really not helping. I'm gonna blame my crash on that. Of course, you're driving as well. How's it going for you?
Since this isn't an official match, I'm actually going to commentate while driving.
Ah, good plan. Okay, that'll be
Well,
interesting.
I'll probably be rather quiet and let you do most
Oh.
of the talking.
Well, I can do, but
I still need to concentrate.
yeah, I was going to say maybe you want me to shut up and just have you doing the commentating as you see fit, sort of thing. So, you know me,
Actually, let's keep it quiet for Ireland, but if there's anything of particular interest, do not hesitate to talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can always tell me to shut up. Oh, I can't blast. You can always tell me to shut up at any point, and you know I'm not going to take it personally. I understand the demands and pressure of driving a Division 1 match. Maybe I can't drive this map at all. Actually, maybe that's the actual problem. Dear me. Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, I drove this okay in qualifying, and then the match was just a complete disaster zone in multiple aspects. My PC decided to throw a wobbly. The server froze, a lot of my applications froze and refused to shut down when I asked them to. I have no idea what was going on. And even when I rebooted the PC, it was, it did not seem stable. So, we moved to a different server. We moved to RAD server. So then I had to set that up. All while trying to get ready. For some reason, we still decided to drive island first. So I was trying to admin and trying to warm up, and it just, yeah, it was a complete disaster. But anyway, that's life. Alright, so what's actually happening? Oh, we're starting.
We are about to begin.
Okay, are we going 3v3?
I think so.
Okay.
Nobody said otherwise.
Yeah, I'll duck out then. Okay, well, good luck and have fun.
I'm not sure about the fun.
Well,
We'll talk about the tracks after this map.
I think you can have fun if you just try to drive to the best of your ability, you know, and do what you can within the limitations of what the map gives you, as it were.
Damn it. I think we lost it.
Yeah. Unlucky. And just in case our viewers are confused, we won't be commentating much during live rounds on island. We will do for the rest of the match, but just on island since Forgotten is driving. Shut up.
That was better.
Yeah. And just to mention that the player who Dunno who is in my team is actually CMC Zooz, in case that's confusing. He's just making a joke with his name. Okay, 2-1 for Dunno. Yeah. Alright, CMC pull around back, so we are 2-2. Are you driving with HUD off?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Should I say I am?
Just viewers are going to get what they see. That's just the way of it.
And it should be 1-2.
Oh well. With this loop at the end, it can sometimes catch you out. I did very, very nearly miss the finish on one run. Oh, I think I did miss it. Miss it on another one. Even though I switched to Cam 3, the first person view, to go through the loop just to try and make it a bit safer.
And JJ is on fire.
He really is, yeah. That is the fastest time in the match by about 0.5 of a second. And he has the most points of anyone. Yeah, a 4-to-3 ratio.
Zooz is a cheeky bugger. Fuck. Oh, I finished last. Alright.
Alright, so where are we? That's
5-2. Map point. Come on!
whoa, a draw with you and Zooz.
Why is he second?
Yeah, well played.
I'm disappointed. That should have been my second place.
Well, Marius says it goes by who has the best time in the match, which is Zooz in this case. I'm not sure if that has actually been scientifically verified. I know that's a theory of how things work, but I've heard many theories about how things work. so who knows? And ultimately, what if you haven't set a time on the track yet? What happens then?
Alright, so we're done with Island, and I'm free to stretch my legs in the casting department, so to say.
Here's Quick,
Oh my goodness gracious!
one of the founding members of, one of the founding leaders of Crazy Machine Chicks.
That is something special, ladies and gentlemen.
That really is Quicksilver, who has not been seen in game for over 8 years. 3,002 days, actually.
I am delighted to see him online. You cannot even imagine.
Well, there is a free slot in CMC 1 for a driver. Just saying. I don't know if the admin team will allow driver swaps right now, but
I hope they will.
given the extreme circumstances of COVID-19 quarantine, which has affected our team, which is exactly why there is a slot open. Not to death, I hasten to add, but a quarantine that has left someone away from their gaming PC.
And that puts us in quite a disadvantageous position because he's one of our best players. We sort of were hoping to get some help from him. Alright, so...
Gonna actually drive? Should force him to drive. What's the command to force a player to drive?
ADM play and login name.
Sounds about right. He probably doesn't have all his stuff set up like, you know, he's a joystick player, so he probably doesn't have his joystick just sitting there. He's almost certainly just joined to see what we're doing.
I wanted to tell you what I think about the tracks that we've got this week. And man, oh man. In all honesty, I think they're absolutely repugnant. There's just no better word for it. Maybe there are some, but it takes quite some extensive thesaurus work to find one. In over 10 years of competitive Trackmania, I've never once seen a single map pack so damn dreadful. In fact, I would call the map pack, if that were a thing, a Minotaur's lair. Do you know why?
Do tell.
Because these tracks are absolute mazes. I don't
They
know.
are certainly not easy to find the route on the first few runs.
I mean, if other map packs are going to feature tracks similar in quality to these ones, I shall announce my retirement from playing Trackmania competitively, in order to begin a lifetime of work with the mentally handicapped, in which capacity I look forward to meeting all the mappers and all the members of the judging panel very soon.
Aye, 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 you are a card.
But that is just extreme.
Oh, Sven, me at the finish line. Not sure who's going to be driving this map. Not sure how many warm-ups we're having. Is that 4 already? I'm not really paying attention.
Apparently so. Well, I can tell you that on our team, on CMC side, we're going to have Neko, JumperJack and angelhard.
I should drive. I was in second. Damn it. These cheeky blighters passing me. It's not on. Alright. Come on, chaps. I didn't even qualify in CMC 2.
You didn't?
No, not on Bay. I didn't really. I mean, Island was the main one I trained, and then. Well, at least I qualified for it. And I drove fine in qualifying. Just the match was a disaster. Anyway. And that's more like it. I don't know if people are just messing around here because the times are, yeah, they must be kind of messing around a little bit. Those are not Division 1 times. Alright, gotta get back into Spectator.
Only 5 warm-ups.
Yeah, yeah. They seem to be becoming greater in number as the league progresses. Now, Before we really start, I should say we do sometimes mention the times that players get on maps, the best time they've set so far in the match, and also the number of points that they've scored. And both of those things you can see in panels, which will appear as soon as we have finished a round. But those things don't really matter. We just sort of talk about them for interest. The only thing that really matters is the points that each team has on the main scoreboard, which Forgotten might bring up right now for you to observe. We'll be saying 0-0 at the moment. And those the scores obviously are dependent upon the points that each driver gets in each round. So the driver points do kind of matter, but you know, only on a per round basis, not over the whole map.
Meanwhile, CMC are going to win the first round by finishing second and first and second, or second and first. That's about the same.
Yep. Which alone is 11 points, and 11 points is enough to win, with only 21 points available in each round. See, they're taking different lines, even at the start there. There's a tighter line that's riskier. Doesn't gain you much time. So we'll see how that develops. Some people might decide they've been taking the tighter line and it's just not worth it. And once they've crashed a couple of times, we will see.
I also observe that the Dunno players don't seem to be particularly well trained. Not for rounds at the very least.
For an unofficial fun match, that's understandable. Just depends how much they enjoy driving and training for the sake of driving and training. Personally, I enjoy it anyway, so even though we were going to be murdered in this week's match against TFS, still train. And another CMC 1-2.
Neko and JumperJack seem to be on point today.
Yep.
I also wanted to talk about some of the track's problems. Apart from difficult wayfinding and some ugly block mixing, we can't deny that.
Okay.
Did you notice anything in the round?
I did notice ugly block mixing. It hurts my heart when I see ugly block mixing.
Because you obviously invented the technique, I guess.
Well, I certainly developed almost everything in it. I wasn't the first really to do it.
Ooh, JumperJack flew off.
A couple of people had done some block mixing on desert before I did, but I think nearly everything else, until you get to Trackmania Unlimiter, I think everything else was pretty much me. So yes, that's why. Although to be fair, my first block mix attempts were also ugly, but you know, that's when we didn't really know what we were doing.
I also have issues with things like obstacles placed in blind spots. There's one.
Yeah, I think that's a much bigger problem. I mean, we could say the block mix is ugly. Personally, I find the mixes on this track to be fine. So it's very subjective. But when it's something that strongly affects the racing experience, then yes,
This
then we've got some serious objections.
Right now, right in front of the checkpoint that preceded the reverse booster, which in itself I think is inappropriate for a league track. There is a slight gap in the platform that you can't really see, and you can drive into it and you will crash and possibly fly off the track.
Yeah. Yeah, let's point that out as we go past it in this round. I do apologize. I was talking whilst they were going past it this time. I personally, I don't mind the reverse boost. You know, I think it's very often you find reverse boosts. I think they take more skill to drive well than a forward boost. You know, and most of the experienced drivers know that there are ways you can drive forward boosts better or worse, and a reverse boost is the same, but just even more so. So I kind of like them for some aspects. So here's this gap you're talking about right there.
Yep, and that's the reverse booster. And also we missed the fact that Neko had a massive crash.
Ah.
Meanwhile, JumperJack is fighting T-Bow for the lead and angelhard going third.
Yeah, angelhard has really struggled on this map so far during the match. I think he's been last on each round so far, but he's found his stability. So hopefully he can keep that up. I mean, he sort of rescued this round a little bit. Well, JumperJack obviously coming first was crucial. Yeah, for me the main disadvantage of reverse boosts is that they can very badly affect respawns.
And that one is placed right in front of a checkpoint.
Yeah. Or crashes also. So if you crash just before a reverse boost and you have to try and get over it, that can be, depending on the environment, that can be pretty bad. I do know from experience that in desert it's fine. You really don't need much build up to get past the reverse boost. But on other environments that could well be different, especially on environments that have red boosts. I'm not sure I've ever seen a red reverse boost except in a wall map. And reverse boosts on league maps are very, very rare because of some of the problems I've mentioned, but also because drivers just tend to hate them just because they do. Not necessarily for rational reasons, but just because.
I also noticed a funny thing about that reverse boost part, because the faster guys here are obviously Neko, JumperJack and T-Bow.
Yeah.
Maxi also has a 58 lowish. But yeah, Neko and JumperJack jump over the boost, while T-Bow goes slightly to the left and over the boost, and yet he doesn't lose a lot of time, if any.
Well, you have to slow down for the next turn anyway. If you take the jump, then your car is less stable on landing, and that makes taking the next turn very difficult. Maybe these Division 1 drivers can still do it full speed, but I certainly couldn't. So going over the reverse boost and taking the slow down, but getting a smoother landing, it seems to me like a viable strategy. And that's exactly why I like, I can see 4 different ways to drive that reverse boost. And to me, it's kind of what makes it interesting. Wow, and the map finished already.
It did indeed. 6-1 for Crazy Machine Cheeks.
Yeah, as we were blabbering about map design, I kind of missed the match. I missed what was going on a little bit, so I do apologize.
I was keeping an eye on it, but I was...
You are, yes.
Enjoying listening to you. Alright, the snow track. and I've got some feedback about it. If I may use a gardening simile here, if this entire map pack may be likened to a compost heap, and I think it can, then this track, which is called Imperium, is the biggest weed growing out of it. It is just that horrible. I think it's the sort of track people uninstall TM to avoid. Whoever this X-MS-X fellow is, I think he must be suffering from serious brain damage. Because I simply cannot imagine a person in their right mind building something like this and going, this should be a good league track. So yeah, I do question both the decisions of the mapper and the judging crew.
It's it's a rough track.
It also
I suppose ultimately we'll find out if it's going to result in an exciting match or not. Although I tend to feel that exciting matches should come from drivers rather than maps. We'll just see how this goes.
I think we're going to see lots of crashes.
I mean, I tend to reserve judgment on maps because I find, especially on these ones where things like route finding are hard, I find that very often when I'm training, I come to enjoy a map at least reasonably well. Not for every map, admittedly, but anyway, so that's kind of why I tend to reserve judgment a little bit. But having said that, as I say, I feel the critical part for maps is that they result in an exciting match, or they have the potential to produce an exciting match. And this, unfortunately, is where I'm just not a good judge of maps. I know there are people in the community who have voiced their concerns about these maps who seem to be certainly much better attuned to what can produce a good map in terms of a match. I tend to listen to them and try to learn, basically.
Well,
and I should say that their opinion on these maps was also not good, so I'm kind of going to go with that still.
But enough talk about the maps. I think we should watch out for Aru's performance in this match, because he's going to go full time attack. I think that's going to be exciting.
So I haven't seen a Rubiano in training much. Has he trained this heavily? Do you happen to know?
I know that he enjoyed training it in time attack. Since I didn't see him in Dedimania, I suppose all of the training was done in solo mode.
I see. Of course, the Dedimania we're seeing at the moment is the rounds and team Dedimania. If he trained in TA, then he might be in TA Dedimania. Time attack, I should say. We often say TA as an abbreviation for time attack, which is a mode where you're really just driving the track, trying to get your best time on a track, whereas at rounds and team you're really supposed to be driving against other drivers more. I wonder how many people will go for this cut at the start. I actually find it reasonably easy. And if I can do it reasonably easy, all these Division 1 drivers should be able to do it. And should be doing it every time. That's my opinion, but I guess we'll see.
From what I saw in qualifying, Aru and Neko should be going for it every time. Not sure about JJ actually.
Arubiano is sufficiently skilled at snow that he actually has a type of cut named after him. On the wooden platform in the sky, if you look at a checkpoint, there's an angled beam at each side of the checkpoint. You can drive through that gap, which on some maps will get you a lot of time, and that is known as the Aru cut. After he executed it flawlessly on run after run of some match, I forget which match it was. And undoubtedly Division 1 somewhere. Tell us who you're spectating. What's going on with him?
I'm currently on Zooz. He's chasing down Neko. Zooz obviously didn't train because, like me, he detests the maps. Couldn't
I think
find.
Zooz is also short of time, so you know.
Yeah, it's a combination of things. The maps he absolutely hates, the time he doesn't really have. But he's a pretty good driver. He's able to keep up, even in D1.
I really didn't train this map much, which might be showing a little bit. Can't even make it into CMC top 3. Okay. Alright, looks like the map is starting, probably.
My god, we have 11 people on the track.
Five warm-ups. Maybe not. Nope, okay, here we go.
It's time.
It's time. It's a good thing we've got somebody who can take the initiative. And
Well, if somebody isn't ready, they will tell.
yeah, that's true. Well, you would think so.
And we're both professional, old teams without lots of experience. We can organize
these are
ourselves.
very experienced teams. You would think we could organize ourselves, but you should have seen the CMC2 match. Again, it was the organization terrible.
Okay, I'm going to spec Arrow.
Okay. So now we finally see our lineups. So for Crazy Machine Chicks, we have JumperJack, Neko, and Aru.
And
Rubiano.
for Dunno, we've got Maxi, Marius, 89, and Sven. And Arrow actually made a mistake, and he's already down on his own online time. About half a second. Actually, close out 200 from top 1.
Everyone here is obviously a skilled Division 1 driver, so we should be seeing some close races. Depending on how much people have trained for this, as I say, unofficial fun match.
Neko was just poking his nose in front of Arrow. Trying his best.
This is very crashy. But okay, let's So 2 people have made Division 1 times and 4 people have not. So I don't know if that's an indication of quite how crashy this map is, or more likely just at how much people have trained. Unless people have over-trained.
Yeah, it is extremely difficult to be consistent on this track, especially if you didn't train.
So people taking that cut at the start, most of them, I think at least one person took the slower and safer route.
Also, there are plenty of bugs on this track, and this checkpoint that Arrow is crossing now is extremely bad to respawn on, because you lose
Yes,
definitely more than 10 seconds
it
crawling.
is it's a 14-second respawn from that checkpoint, which you should not see in a league map.
Because snow car just doesn't accelerate quickly, and without any boosters.
Exactly. If there's a boost after the checkpoint, or the checkpoints are closer together, then you can get away with that kind of thing. But a 14-second respawn is kind of ridiculous. I'm not sure what the timeout on the map is here. Actually, it's under 20 seconds.
I think it is under 20 seconds, I'm not sure. It's on automatic setting anyway.
Okay, so we'll try and keep an eye out for it at the end of the next round.
And I'm
But
still...
certainly 14 seconds is punishing. Yeah, unreasonably punishing.
Yeah, if you make another mistake... Oh, Arrow crashed and went off the track. I'll switch to someone else for once. Yeah, so if you have to take a respawn at that checkpoint... Oh, Maxi, press F to pay respects.
This is Crash Mania. It's going crazy, and Rubiano 18 seconds behind. The panel on the left is saying there. So, as I say, depending on what the timeout is, he might not be able to finish.
Let's
we'll
see. Yeah, still can't finish my sentence. If you have to take a respawn at that checkpoint and you crash somewhere else, you're basically out of the round with a DNF.
Which could mean, in the current positions, that would be a draw. Oh, not
anymore. Dunno.
Sven and Marius in 1-2, that's a win. If it stays like that... Oh,
under 10 seconds now, Arrow is not going to make it.
I was looking at the wrong thing, so yeah. Well, it would have been a Dunno win anyway with a 1-2. But you see how easily that could change. If Rubiano had been first in that round, that would have been a CMC win. Every driver counts. Usually.
Even without having scored a single point, he is still third on the board in points scored in this match. Just 2 points behind Neko. But yeah, Arrow is reasonably well trained in time attack mode on this track.
So everyone is reasonably close. I mean, they're a little bit spaced out, but it's certainly it's good enough that everything could change. Close enough that everything can change.
Oh, what happened to Maxi? He was half a second behind Arrow and Neko. And now he's 2 checkpoints behind, and I didn't even notice him crashing.
Oh, and there's a crash. Who did we lose there? I think that was JJ.
That would have been JJ, but...
The map... my apologies. The map timeout seems to be 15 seconds. So with that respawn being 14 seconds, you're really going to have to be flying to make it.
And off we go once again. Everybody with a decent start. Arrow the fastest one of the pack.
So it's Marius and JJ who are taking that slower route at the start.
The consistent guys.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes.
Well, Marius is usually not the fastest guy on the track, but he's almost always consistent.
Yeah.
Same could be said about JJ. He's often far from being the fastest even on the team, but he's quite often the most consistent. Better safe than sorry.
Yes, indeed. And of course we can check that because JumperJack also produces statistics for every match where we can check people's consistency and their speed. So Crazy Machine Chicks with a 1-2 there, with tight together as well with 104s. We can look at the driver points. Neko and Rubiano both on 24, equal first place on driver points.
Ooh, and we've got everyone from Dunno crashing, and we haven't even got a third of the way.
Yeah. Neko also has made an error, so he's been losing time to Marius, but now they're sort of even in speed. But there's going to have to be some crashes up front, I would say, for this to change. But it can all change because there's still plenty of this map to go. About halfway through.
JJ
Neko does make a mistake.
with a clip at the tunnel.
Okay, so it's all changing.
Marius in second. But Sven, I think, is a bit too far behind to catch up. Unless something
for now.
incredible happens at the front. Arrow with another round win. So that should be a map point for CMC once again.
Look at those times. A Rubiano with a 104 and then second place a 108. 4.6 seconds behind.
And also Arrow is in the lead on points scored individually, although he hasn't finished one round.
So let's see how crashy this round is.
Oh, Arrow
There is a
crashed.
crash. So Dunno have a 1-2, or had a 1-2. JJ found some speed, some time. Marius making a comeback.
Yes, he's close, already in front. It can all change, it's too close to call at the moment. JJ back in front, catching up with Maxi. No crashes in the leading group.
The pressure's going to be on Maxi here. He hasn't done great on this map so far.
Yes, only 11 points scored. Oh, Marius with a crash. Let's switch to JJ.
Well, this could be exciting because if Maxi comes first, then you know
And
there's potential
JJ
for
losing time.
this is going
Maxi
to go to Dunno.
should be winning the round. JJ
Yeah.
second. Yes.
With Aru and Neko way behind, they must have had bad crashes.
Yes, I'm
I
not
missed.
sure Arrow is going to finish once again.
Oh, 16 seconds behind for Aru, and oh dear. Well, that's going to mess up his statistics.
Yeah, he hasn't finished 2 rounds now, but he's still tied for the lead with Neko. Yes, as you had said, only JJ and Marius are going for the safer route at the start. Arrow made a mistake once again. What's going on?
He didn't lose too much time though.
Yes.
Maxi has dropped behind. He had a bit of a bump, but he's not far behind.
But
Not far.
at the moment we've got CMC in positions 1, 2 and 3. So provided nobody botches anything up, it should be
Haha.
just
What are the
sets it up.
chances of that? There you go.
JJ with a crash.
JJ, usually captain safe, uh, has let us down there. As we were calling him safe, he makes a crash. But nevertheless, CMC 1-2, and that is
And
that match.
Neko actually getting the fastest time of the match and passing Arrow in the points
Wow.
department.
Yeah, good job. 6-2 for CMC on Alpine. And I don't actually remember the results of the other maps. Professional casting here.
Indeed. I can't
But I'm
remember
sure
neither.
somebody who is on CMC 1 team will be able to tell us. Okay, that was your opportunity to shine, Forgotten, but
I just don't keep track of the scores.
yeah, so I'm not even actually sure who won this match. I'm just gonna hope it was Crazy Machine Chicks because, as usual, we are displaying our biases in that we are Crazy Machine Chicks drivers. And we always hope for a Crazy Machines chick win, even though we try to report fairly on how the teams are doing.
Well, that's it for tonight then. What would you want to add anything else?
No, I mean, really only to say that this was yet another good match. I mean, it is surprising. We say the maps are terrible, but you know, the joy, just the pleasure of driving a match is, for me, I wouldn't miss it, you know?
Yes, even though I absolutely hated the silent track, I still enjoyed playing this match against Dunno. I didn't train too much. I can't say I was happy with my performance, but it was fun, nevertheless.
Yeah, and thanks to Dunno and Crazy Machine Chick first team for holding this match for us. There we go, a CMC2 driver in first place, as usual.
So, don't forget to subscribe. I will be streaming the... what's it called once again? The Training Challenge Cup on Wednesday evening.
Which is organized by Minwee, if I understand correctly. Is that right? No.
It is indeed.
Okay. Yeah, and I should say, you know, thanks to the admins for organizing all this stuff. Without admins, none of this would be happening.
Yes, and even though I was complaining a lot and hope everyone understands that my commentary was mostly in jest.
Yeah, I mean, we drive this game for the pleasure. Basically, that's what it amounts to. And if we weren't enjoying it, we wouldn't. So.
But even though I didn't like the tracks one bit,
Yeah.
I do want to thank everyone who organizes this competition, because without you, we wouldn't have been playing this game right now. We would have been doing something else. I don't know. I don't even know what. Especially with all this coronavirus quarantine and stuff.
That's true. It's a good time to get into another game. I mean, so if you're... well, I think we're going to do another match by the looks of it.
Alright, so once again, that's it from us for tonight. Join me on Wednesday for the Training Challenge Cup, and you've been listening to Mix D
Good night.
and Forgotten. Good night, everyone.